Okay, hi everybody. So today we'll see some of the count functions, what is there in Excel. So we have different types of count functions. We look into all these particular count functions. How do we implement? What is the difference between each of the different types of count functions? Okay, that is what we will look into. The first thing is we'll see with count. What exactly is the count? Count, and again, it gives me the values, what is there in the given range of data. Okay, let us take an example. I have some of this HR data here. So now what I want to do is, okay, fine. I want to know how many people are getting the salary. Okay, I want to know how many people are getting the salary. So in that case, what I will do is I'll just say is equal to count. Fine. When I use this particular thing, so what happens? Okay, I just say count and I just selected this particular range of data. Cool. So when I selected this range of data, so it just says in this range of data, so you say you have 19 people who are getting the salary. Cool. Okay. That means when you count this, we have 20 employees, but out of which one employee, okay, might be he's a director, he doesn't have any salary. So it says only 19 people are getting the salary. Now the question comes is, I want to know how many employees are there. So I want to know how many employees are there in this particular system. So if I have to find how many employees are there, so you can see some employees, the managers and all these things. So fine, CEO, he's not taking the salary, so he's not considered as an employee. So I want to know how many employees are there. The best way to count is count based on the name of the employees or based on the employee number. Okay, so let us see. I'll try to count out how many employees are there. We'll try to see this based on the name. Fine. So now how will you do that? So we'll use this particular function called as a count. Okay. And then I'll just select this particular range of data. Okay. I said count and I have selected this range of data. You can see B2 to B21, this range of data. So I'm supposed to get as 20, is it? Now when I press enter, so you can see what happens. I'm getting the value as 0. I was expecting it to be a 20 because we have 20 employees here. Okay. But it is actually, instead of showing as 20, it is showing as 0. What's gone wrong here? Okay, so my formula is correct. Okay, range of selection is correct, everything is correct. Now the thing is, what we understand from this is count is a function which will count only on the numerical data. It will count only on the numbers. It will not count for the alphanumerical data or the data which is not a pure number. So when you look into this one, these are not the numbers, they are the character data. So these are nothing but the data which is of type characters. So now what I do is, okay, I want to get the total head count. So the safest way is, or the best way is, I need to count based on the employee numbers or based on the names. Both employee numbers as well as the names are in the alphanumerical values now. So in that case, I have a function here called as count A. You can see here, there is a function called as count A or count A, we say. When you use this particular count A function, you can see I'm getting this as 20. I'm getting as 20. So what I did, instead of using a count, I used a count A. So A, I can say A can be anything. Okay, A can be alphanumeric or anything. So what exactly count A function will do is, in a given range of data, it counts all those particular cells which contains any data. It can be alphabets, it can be numbers, it can be special characters. Okay, it can be any data. If the cell contains some data, it will count. Except the blank cells, it will count all the values. Okay, so that is the difference between, that is what exactly is the count A. So the difference between the count function and the count A function is, count will count only the numerical data, whereas the count A function will count on the alphanumerical data or the data which contains any type of values. Got it? Okay. So next is, okay, that is the difference between your count and your count A function. Now, I want to know how many blanks are there. Say example now, so easiest ways to count on the number of head counts of the employees and all, we can use a count A. I want to know how many people are getting the salary. Okay, we use a count function. Okay, now we have something called as a commission column. Okay, some people are getting commission. I say some people are not getting the commission. So I want to know in this particular range of data, how many people are not getting the commission, how many commissions are null. I want to count that particular thing. So in that case, what is that we do is, okay, since I want to count the blank cells in that, so we use this particular function called as a count blank. I'm using this particular function here called as a count blank. So this will count only the blank cells in a given range. I say count blank, and I just select the range of data on which you want to apply the count. So you can see here, it says 6. That means when you look into this particular thing, that says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means 6 cells are empty. So this is going to tell me how many empty cells are there. Fine. So that is what exactly is your count function doing. Yeah. Count is count only the numerical values. Count A will count cells which contains any type of data, whereas the count blank will count the cells which contains the blank values in a given range. Now, I want to sometimes, I want to do a counting based on a certain given condition. Let's say example, when you look into this particular commission, there are some people who are getting commission as 1,000, and there are some people who are getting commission as 500. So I want to know how many people are getting 1,000 as a commission. Okay. So in that case, what I'll do, I need to count based on a certain condition. So my condition is going to be something like this. I just say count. Okay. So we use this thing called as count if. So you can see here, I've selected what you call it as count if. What exactly a count if will do? It counts the number of cells within a range that meets a given certain condition. Okay. So I'll use this particular count if, and then I'll just select the range of data on which you want to apply the count. Now, as I said, count if is going to count based on a criteria, based on the condition. So you can see here, it takes two parameters here. In the case of count, it takes two parameters. One is the range of data on which you want to apply the count. The second one is the criteria, okay, the condition that you want to apply. So now, what is my criteria? I say my criteria is it is matching to a value called as 1,000. So now the criteria will be given in the double quotes. So I just press enter. So you can see here, I got this particular people who earn a salary 1,000. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that means out of those 20 employees, since 6 employees are not getting commission, so 4 employees are getting 500. So 10 employees are getting a commission of 1,000. So that is what exactly a count if function does. So that means it is a conditional count. So first we specify the range of data where you want to apply the count. The second thing is the actual criteria that you want to apply. So it can be used in various criteria. Like say example, we have some managers, we have some trainers and all this thing. Now what I want to do is I want to know how many managers are there. Okay, so let me sort it based on the employee now. Now I want to know in this particular data how many managers are there. So I want to count. So in that case, my count will go something like this. I say count if. So since I want to count based on a certain count condition, and then I just say the range of data where you want to apply the count, and then we give the criteria. So my criteria is manager. Fine. So now it says in the given range, that is C2 to C21. So I will just count out how many managers are there. Okay. So that means in this particular range of data, how many managers are there? So we have one manager over here. So we have a manager. We do also have a manager. So that means in this particular range of data, we have 3 managers. Or I want to know how many trainers. I just need to go there again. I say trainer, and that has to be enclosed within the quotes because otherwise it'll refer to a name. Fine. So it says I have 3 managers, so I have 5 trainers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5 trainers. Fine. Okay. So this is like, we call it as a conditional counts. Okay. So that means you are counting based on a certain given condition. So we use this particular thing, and this is called as a conditional count. Fine. So next is I want to count based on 2 criteria. I want to count this based on 2 conditions, 2 criteria. So what is the criteria is I want to know we have 5 say trainers, but I want to know how many male trainers are there. Okay, see we have some female trainers also, and so we have some male trainers also. So I just want to know how many what you say male trainers are there. So that means it has to look into 2 conditions. One is it has to look for a job, and the job is matching to trainer. and then it has to look even for the gender, and the gender should be matching to a male. Okay, so that means a record which satisfies both the condition, but only that will be taken as a head count. So that is taken as one count, but here, so you can see it is not male, so it is going to be rejected. So fine, this is another trainer with a male. So I say this is another trainer with a male. Okay, I think we have 3 male trainers, 2 female trainers. Fine. I need to get this output. So that means I want to count based on multiple criteria, multiple conditions. In that case, we have this particular function called as count ifs, ifs. Okay, so in this we say specify the first is, okay, we use a criteria range. So as usual, I say criteria range is the job, that is C2 to C11, C21. So what is the job? I'm looking for trainer. That is the criteria will be given in the double quotes, comma. So what is now? Okay, so when I use the ifs, okay, you can see what happens. It is criteria range 1 criteria, then comma. So we do also have a criteria range 2 criteria. So it goes as a pairs. Okay, I can go with the second criteria. What is my second criteria? My second criteria is gender. Okay, and I'm looking for the employees whose gender is male. So now you can see it is showing the employees, okay, which is satisfying to the both the criteria. So that means the job should be trainer and the gender should be male. So how many male trainers are there? So we have 3 male trainers. Clear? Okay, so this is your count if, and this is your count. So count if will count based on a single condition. Count if will count based on the multiple conditions, more than one conditions, one or more than one conditions. Okay, we use this particular count ifs functions. Now, one thing is, now I say this is the male trainers, but I want to know how many male managers are there. So that means I need to go and modify over here. Okay, so instead of male, I want to get the female. I need to again do the changes. Now, what I want is, I want somewhere for the user to do a selection here. So I have, okay, when the user selects, based on that, it has to, okay. So I just say select gender. I say select job. So what I will do is I'll try to have a kind of a drop down list. I'll just go to the data validations here, or we can just have it over here. I say male and I say trainer. So now instead of referring to this particular fixed value, I can even refer to this particular cell. I say job is matching to this and the gender is matching to this, comma. Okay, so if I have to write once again, I'll just write it like this. See, instead of writing a static value inside the function, I want to refer to this gender and then this job. So I just say is equal to count if. Okay, so first IFS, since it is multiple conditions, I'll just say count if. First criteria range, I say I want to look for the job. Okay, comma, the actual criteria. So instead of giving the criteria in the double quotes, so I'll just select this particular criteria. So I say it has to look for the trainer, comma, the second criteria. So what is the second criteria? The second criteria is it has to look for the gender, and the criteria is it has to look for the gender matching to this. Fine. So now if I change here, I say female. So I'll say, okay, so we have 2 female employees. So 2 female trainers. So I want to know how many female managers are there. So we have 1 female manager. So male. So it says we have 2 male managers. So that means these are the values which is shown based on both the criteria, which satisfies both the conditions based on that. So this is your count if function. Okay.
So can you please repeat the formula?
So I just say is equal to count IFS. Okay, we use the count ifs. Okay, so that is the name of the function count ifs, and you can see it takes the parameters as a pair. So criteria range and the criteria. So what is the range now? I need to look. So I need to look for this job. Okay, I'm looking in this particular job, comma. What is the criteria that you're looking for? So I can type the criteria in the double quotes, or I can refer to this particular cell. So I'm looking for the people whose job is matching to this particular value. Okay, B25. B25 is nothing but so a cell which is containing some value. Now, what is the value then? Manager. So that manager will be placed over here. Okay. So if I close this, Now this will show me how many managers are there. So if I say trainers, so it says 5 trainers are there. Fine. So this is counting based on a single condition. Now I want to count based on multiple conditions. That means which satisfies 2 conditions. I'm looking for how many male trainers are there. I just say comma. Okay. The second criteria is I'm looking for the gender. Okay. And the range. Okay. The criteria range and the actual criteria for that is it has to look for this gender. And I press enter key. So when you look into this, I'm just giving in the form of pairs. This is a criteria range, okay, and this is the criteria, and this is the criteria range, and this is the actual criteria for that range of data. So instead of giving a static value within the double quotes, I am referring to, so B25 is this, B24 is this, and C2 to C12 is this, so this is this. Yep.